Cassie has just dropped some shocking new evidence against Diddy in court. And let's just say, this could change everything. We're talking major legal trouble, explosive allegations, and the kind of receipts that could completely dismantle Diddy's empire. Stay locked in because this is about to get crazy. For months, we've seen Cassie take legal action against Diddy.
The singer Cassie says the incidents occurred throughout her 10-year relationship with Combs. Her suit was filed under a law that allows alleged offense victims to file past the statute of limitations. Cassie says she wanted to speak out before that law expires next week. Mr. Combs has denied all the allegations. For more, let's bring in entertainment attorney Dante Mills. So, Dante, thanks for being with us. Cassie has signed with that label when she was just 19, and Sean Combs was 37. What's alleged to have happened after that?
But this latest move is turning up the heat like never before. According to sources, Cassie has presented new evidence in court, evidence that could be a game changer. And we're not talking about vague accusations or speculation. We're talking real, solid proof that could land Diddy in some serious legal trouble.
Thank you for having me, Catherine. So in this lawsuit, I just wanted to be clear, this is a civil lawsuit. This is not a criminal lawsuit. There's no chance here as we stand for Sean Combs to go to jail. It's a civil lawsuit about money. And the claim is that during their relationship, he was physically abusive, that he required or demanded that she perform certain with other people while he was there, and that he, in fact, raped her shortly before she left him. She said she did not want to have relations with him, and he forced himself on her. That's the basis of this lawsuit and why it's moving forward. Now, you are right to talk about the fact that this lawsuit was brought in New York because these things happened years ago. So the statute of limitations is gone most places, but in New York, they had this law where they opened it up for a year and said, if you're a survivor of you have a year to bring your claim, and that expires next week, November 23rd of this year.
Okay, so you've handled several high-profile cases. What would your defense strategy look like?
Absolutely. I have a lot of high-profile clients, and the first thing that comes to mind when we get these lawsuits in, not just of this nature, but any of them, is that the people are about money. This is a civil lawsuit, and at the end of the day, Cassie would receive money if she wins. So the first defense is always going to be that these claims are made up, that they're exaggerated, that none of this happened. She simply wants money. She knows that Sean Combs has it, and she wants a piece of it. That's the first and most natural defense.
So Cassie's legal team,
So what exactly did Cassie bring forward? And why are Diddy's legal team scrambling right now? According to insider sources, the new evidence includes emails, text messages, and audio recordings that directly implicate Diddy in the allegations against him. The evidence, which was presented in court earlier today, reportedly reveals shocking details about Diddy's behavior and the extent of his alleged misconduct.
So Cassie's legal team, how are they going to handle questions about why she stayed in the relationship as long as she did and then waited so long to report the allegations?
Absolutely. That's a tough issue because when you're in a relationship for that long, sometimes things build up where you go in and you're being wined and dined and everything is good, and gradually things get worse. So if I'm on her team as her attorney, I'm making it clear that that's what happened here, that the relationship started out good, but gradually it got worse and worse to the point that she was caught in this vicious cycle. She was caught under his thumb and almost didn't even realize it until she got out of there and some years went by, and then she began to process and heal and say, I went through things that I did not agree with and that should not have happened to me. That's what her side would be saying. If I'm on Sean Combs' side, I'm saying that none of this came up while they were in a relationship, and that she brought this up after she walked away and realized that she could not continue her lifestyle and needed money to do so. And that's why this claim came here.
That's a great
As the evidence was presented, Diddy was seen visibly shaken, and moments later, the courtroom erupted in gasps. The judge was forced to call a recess to restore order, but the damage may already be done. One source described the atmosphere in the courtroom as electric, with everyone hanging on every word of the evidence.
Now, he's also charged with trafficking with respect to victim one. Again, argument could be made that's Ventura. That is using force or coercion to to have this person engage in commercial acts, meaning for money or something of value was given or promised. There's an element that this has to be enticing, harboring, transporting this person over state or foreign lines. And then we have the final count, which is transporting people over state or foreign lines for the purposes of prostitution. In the beginning of her complaint, it mentions how Combs is a rapper, a record executive, how he rose to prominence in the entertainment industry, and then she explains how in 2022, when he won the Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards, he called out Ventura in his speech. And also Cassie for holding me down in the dark times, love. But then the suit says, quote, "The truth, however, is that Cassie, Miss Cassandra Ventura, was held down by Mr. Combs and endured over a decade of his violent behavior and disturbed demands. For Miss Ventura, the dark times were those she spent trapped by Mr. Combs in a cycle of abuse, violence, and trafficking."
Let's rewind for a second. Cassie and Diddy had a long and complicated history. But over the past year, Cassie has been pulling back the curtain on what really went down behind closed doors. She's already accused Diddy of manipulation, abuse, and shady dealings. But now, she's backing it all up with hard evidence. Word on the street is, Cassie has submitted new documents, audio recordings, and even text messages that paint a disturbing picture of what really happened during their relationship. And let's be real, Diddy has spent decades dodging accusations. But this time, it might not be so easy to escape.
So in the complaint, she explains how she met Combs when she was 19 years old back in 2005. He was apparently 37. He signed her to his record label Bad Boy Records as an artist. And from there, she claims that Combs, her boss, and who she describes as, quote, one of the most powerful men in the entertainment industry, lured her into a fast-paced, drug-fueled lifestyle and into a romantic relationship with him where he, quote, asserted complete control over her personal and professional life, thereby ensuring her inability to escape his hold. She claims that he provided unprecedented avenues for success for the aspiring artist, but in return demanded obedience, loyalty, and silence. And that is key. That is a common characteristic in trafficking claims, the promise of something valuable to force someone to engage in activity. And there are more references to this where Combs, according to Ventura, would buy her designer clothing, pay for lavish vacations for them, bought her a car. So I want you to keep that in mind as we talk more about this. Now the complaint goes on to say, quote, "Within a year of signing with Bad Boy Records, Mr. Combs became deeply entrenched in Miss Ventura's life, almost immediately asserting possession and control over her and inserting himself into all aspects of her career and her personal life."
Social media has exploded with reactions to the news, with hashtags like Cassie exposes Diddy and Diddy legal trouble trending worldwide. Fans of Cassie are praising her bravery for coming forward with the evidence, while critics of Diddy are calling it a smoking gun that could finally bring justice to his accusers. The revelations have reignited debates about Diddy's innocence or guilt, with many questioning how this new evidence will impact the outcome of the case.
Diddy, the owner of her record label, comes in and he starts defending his artist. He tells MTV News, "You could hear the nervousness in her voice." And to be honest, I kind of smiled at that because it made me appreciate what I really love about her. She's just a regular person. It just made me appreciate that she got nervous. It's kind of cute to me, to be honest. You've got to understand that success for her is coming out of nowhere. It's just huge and people deal with that differently. A lot of people shut up after that, and they respected Diddy a lot for coming to his artist's defense, which is probably why Cassie felt comfortable and excited to perform at the MTV Europe Music Awards in Denmark later that year with Diddy. She flies all the way to Europe with Diddy, and during hair and makeup leading up to this performance, she's sitting in the makeup chair and her makeup artist is fixing her face, staring at her in the mirror, and just states, "Diddy's interested in you."
Wait, she's dating someone though, right?
Yeah, and Diddy's dating Kim Porter, okay? So this is very crazy, you know? Cassie thought the whole thing was just gossip, and honestly kind of gross. He's so old, he's practically double her age. I mean, there's just no way. He's in a very public relationship with his longtime on and off girlfriend, the mother of his children, Kim Porter. Besides, she's publicly dating a producer by the name of Ryan Leslie, and he knows that. He's friends with Ryan Leslie. But from what everybody has said about Diddy, if he wants something or someone, there's really no way of saying no.
Memes, tweets, and videos are flooding the internet as people dissect every detail of the leaked evidence and speculate about what it means for Diddy's future. So, what does this evidence actually contain? Sources claim that Cassie's legal team has provided damning messages that show a pattern of control, intimidation, and cover-ups.
I'm going to bring in Myla Morales. She's a former makeup artist for Diddy and also Cassie Ventura, working for Diddy for years and eventually becoming a friend of Cassie's. In 2010, Myla alleges that she heard Cassie being physically abused and was a witness to the aftermath of the alleged attack. She joins me now. Myla, thank you so much for being here. This has been, for so many people, illuminating, infuriating, troubling, devastating. You can go down the list of things, but it's so difficult to speak about.
I know.
Being a witness of anything. Tell me how you must be feeling just knowing that this has even come to light.
Well, I have kept this secret for like 14 years. I mean, the first time I experienced it was 2010, and I was in the hotel room when Puff came in, and I had no idea Cassie left. And when I woke up, I just saw his presence come into the room. They went into the bedroom and shut the door, and all I could hear is screaming and yelling and whatever was going on in there, I don't know. But all I could think of was to grab Cassie's things and start packing it up and just getting her out to safety and bringing her to my house. So that's kind of like what transpired from that night. And once she came out of the room, she was badly, beaten.
Oh my God, what did her physical appearance look like?
I mean, it was knots on her head, black eye, busted lip, but a lot of knots all over her head.
Did she go to the police at that point or anything?
And here's where it gets even crazier. Some of these messages allegedly include discussions about payoffs and threats. If these texts are legit, Diddy could be facing way more than just public backlash. This could lead to full-blown criminal investigations. Let's take a closer look at how this story unfolded. Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, filed a lawsuit against Diddy earlier this year, accusing him of harassment, manipulation, and abuse during their relationship. The case has been one of the most closely watched legal battles in recent memory, with both sides presenting compelling arguments.
According to her, he would basically take her on, to do tours, and he would purposely not have Ryan come along. And when they'd be in Miami, he'd give her drugs, and one thing leads to another, and they start and now that's his girl, and Ryan Leslie is the ex.
That was his whole mission.
Did you see that actually happen?
Yes, right in my face.
Okay.
Basically, how I can perceive it from the perception of how I can go about it. I seen Ryan Leslie around, Cassie around, Diddy around. 3.2 seconds later, Ryan Leslie ain't around no more, and it's just Cassie and Diddy. And that blew my mind because Cassie and Ryan Leslie looked like they was damn near finna get married, bruh. Diddy came through in that bitch and wreck shop. Took his basically. And once he took his Ryan Leslie stopped coming around.
Right.
That's exactly what happened.
Diddy has consistently denied the allegations, calling them false and defamatory. But the new evidence presented by Cassie has cast serious doubt on his claims. The evidence, which was reportedly obtained through a combination of legal discovery and private investigations, includes emails and text messages that appear to show Diddy discussing inappropriate behavior with associates.
Cassie Ventura's husband of 4 years, Alex Vine, has a scathing message for all abusers. In an open letter he shares to Instagram on May 17th, addressed to women and children, he writes, "Men who hit women aren't men. Men who enable it and protect those people aren't men. As men, violence against women shouldn't be inevitable. Check your brothers, your friends, and your family. Our daughters, sisters, mothers, and wives should feel protected and loved. The 1883 actor continues, men who hurt women hate women. To all the survivors, your stories are real and people believe you. To all the survivors, you're not alone, and there are men and women out there who only care for your well-being and safety. We want you to succeed and flourish. To all the women and children, I'm sorry you live in a world where you're not protected and you don't feel equal.
Audio recordings also reveal conversations that allegedly support Cassie's claims of manipulation and control. And let's not forget about the audio recordings. There are rumors that Cassie has provided taped conversations that could expose the truth about Diddy's behind-the-scenes dealings. If these tapes prove that Diddy was involved in any kind of illegal activity, it's game over. And trust me, Diddy's legal team knows it. That's why they're reportedly doing everything they can to discredit Cassie and block this evidence from being fully revealed. The evidence, which was played in court earlier today, is said to be a pivotal moment in the case. In one particularly chilling segment, Diddy is heard discussing activities that align with the accusations made against him.
The 1-year-old adds that he hopes to raise his and Cassie's 4-year-old daughter Frankie and 3-year-old daughter Sunny in a world where children like them are, quote, safe and loved. He finishes the letter off by writing, to the abusers, you're done. You're not safe anymore. You're not protected anymore. The men by your side are just as weak. His post comes shortly after a 2016 surveillance video of a man believed to be Sean Diddy Combs, who has been the subject of legal accusations in recent months, allegedly Cassie was unearthed. On May 17th, CNN released footage, which E! News has not independently verified, of what appeared to be Diddy chasing the Me and You singer down a hotel hallway, pulling her and kicking times. In a November 2023 lawsuit, Cassie accused Diddy, who she dated for over a decade before their 2018 breakup.
The recordings also reveal a side of Diddy that the public has never seen before, one that contradicts his carefully crafted image as a successful businessman and philanthropist. Legal experts are calling the evidence a game changer, suggesting that it could lead to a conviction if admitted in court. The judge overseeing the case has yet to rule on the admissibility of the evidence, but the damage to Diddy's public image may already be irreversible. But here's the thing. This isn't just about Cassie. If her evidence holds up in court, it could open the floodgates for more victims to come forward.
Remember, the trial starts first week in May? I believe May 5th?
If it starts then.
If it starts then. And if she is on the stand, as we expect her to be, she is victim number one in the indictment.
She's going to be the star witness.
That she's the star witness. Now you have the star witness pregnant on the stand. That is a...
Well, you know what it is.
I mean, the sympathy...
You know what it is. We can go back a few segments here, and it's kind of the Rihanna effect in the courtroom. And they're going to look at this woman who is pregnant, engaged, and it's kind of, trying to juxtapose these two images. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, that's the subliminal difficulty that Diddy's going to have.
The part they're not going to be able to escape is when they play the
video of her
hotel
being
beating video.
That's right. No, you're absolutely right. But that's what they're going to argue.
But that's going to be the game, going back and forth. Speaking of the freak-offs, Diddy has a defense for that, and it's basically that the government is trying to ring him up on a very old, antiquated statute. It's called the Mann Act, and he actually filed documents yesterday asking the judge to dismiss count number 3 of the indictment because he believes that he is being selectively prosecuted because he is a black man and they're trying to take him down using the Mann Act. In fact, in the documents, he says, we've seen it play out this way for decades. He says they did it to Chuck Berry, they did it to the boxer Jack Johnson, using this Mann Act, and now they're trying to do it to me when all I'm doing is leading my life the way lots of people do, and they're never prosecuted for it, particularly when they're white.
And in our documentary, The Downfall of Diddy, which is on Tubi, we talked to Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's lawyer, who said is a core part of the defense.
Right. Well, will this be successful? I mean, essentially, Diddy's team is saying they're kind of admitting.
And if that happens, Diddy could be looking at a legal battle he simply can't buy his way out of. Remember, we've already seen other people hinting at similar experiences with Diddy. Cassie might just be the first domino to fall. Friends and associates of Cassie have been quick to express their support, calling her a courageous survivor who is finally standing up for herself. They argue that the evidence is credible and could have a significant impact on the outcome of the case.
Count 3 actually alleges trafficking involving 3 female victims in addition to the male escorts. So I believe there's a great disparity in the characterization of the case just within the motion they're filing and the indictment as it's filed. Now, it is true that the manhack does have a racial history. It was used many years ago to target African Americans who were engaging in what might be called immoral conduct, according to the Times. But that statute was amended several times. It removed the immoral purposes and it removed some other language and now restricts application of the statute to conduct involving sex trafficking and transportation related to criminal conduct. So the only way the statute can be charged now is if it's alleged that somebody committed a crime. And again, I think the indictment alleges more conduct than what is addressed in the defense motion. And so this motion...
Can I stop you? That's really interesting, because if the crime is not just taking somebody from one state to another and paying them.
However, Diddy's legal team is fighting back, calling the evidence fabricated and taken out of context. They insist that Diddy is the victim of a smear campaign designed to tarnish his reputation and legacy. The emotional toll on Diddy was evident as he sat in court, visibly shaken by the revelations. One witness described him as pale and trembling, a far cry from the confident and charismatic figure the world is used to seeing.
Text messages are being made public in the sex trafficking case against Sean Diddy Combs. The texts were revealed on September 18th while Diddy was in federal court to appeal his denial of pretrial release following his arrest and indictment earlier this week for sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. During his bail appeal, NBC reporters inside the courtroom report that Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson read out loud the texts that Diddy reportedly sent to Cassie Ventura after an altercation in a hotel in 2016. She references security video of the event that went public, showing Diddy hitting his then-girlfriend in a hotel hallway. The texts from Diddy at the time read, quote, "Call me, the cops are here. I got 6 kids. Yo, please call, I'm surrounded. You gonna abandon me all alone?" The assistant U.S. attorney argues in court that, quote, the defendant knew he had done something that could elicit police response. She stated that if the music producer were freed from jail, it may prevent witnesses from testifying against him, and denied his bail a second time. E! News has reached out to reps for Cassie and Diddy.
Now, let's talk about Diddy's reaction. Sources say he is in full panic mode right now. His legal team is scrambling, trying to shut this down before it spirals out of control. But here's the problem. Cassie isn't backing down. She's standing firm, and with this new evidence, she might have the upper hand. If the court accepts these new documents, things are going to get very messy, very fast. This isn't just a story about Cassie and Diddy. It's about the broader issues of power and accountability in the entertainment industry.
Texts were brought up in relation to the federal indictment against the music mogul, which alleges that, quote, for decades, Diddy abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnafilo, who says his client is, quote, innocent and has nothing to hide, has shared insight into Diddy's current condition. He's not a perfect person. There has been drug use. He has been in toxic relationships, he told the court, according to NBC News, adding that Diddy is receiving treatment and therapy for things that he needs treatment and therapy for. Diddy.
The explosive evidence has sparked important conversations about how victims of abuse are treated and whether the legal system is equipped to uncover the truth. Some are calling for reforms to ensure that all evidence is thoroughly reviewed, while others argue that Diddy's situation is a consequence of his alleged actions. The case has also raised questions about the role of privilege and influence in the justice system, with many wondering whether Diddy's wealth and status have shielded him from accountability for too long.
And the complaint says, quote, Mr. Combs also became deeply involved in Ms. Ventura's personal life, with his personal staff attending to Ms. Ventura's day-to-day travel and other needs, including medical care. On multiple occasions, Mr. Combs had Ms. Ventura's personal medical records sent directly to his email address. For instance, when Ms. Ventura began experiencing memory loss, potentially due to excessive drug use and/or head injuries caused by Mr. Combs' beatings, her MRI results were provided directly to Mr. Combs. Mr. Combs also repeatedly arranged for his staff to drive Ms. Ventura to certain doctor's appointments. By the way, that is alluded to in Combs' criminal indictment as well, because in the indictment it states, quote, Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victim's appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, and supplying them with controlled substances.
And let's talk about what's at stake. We're not just talking about legal fees or a hit to Diddy's reputation. If this evidence is as damning as sources claim, Diddy could be facing serious criminal charges. We're talking lawsuits, potential jail time, and a complete unraveling of his legacy. For someone who has built an empire based on power and influence, this could be the ultimate downfall. As the case continues to unfold, one question looms large.
It says, quote, compounding this all-encompassing intrusion into her life, Mr. Combs secured his control over the young and impressionable Miss Ventura by introducing her to a drug-fueled lifestyle that kept her complacent and compliant. Now I want to get into the physical and abuse allegations. That's a main component of this case. So the complaint lists out many alleged incidents. For example, it states, quote, Mr. Combs would violently beat Miss Ventura, leaving bruises on her body. After every instance in which he beat Miss Ventura, Mr. Combs used his money and power to orchestrate extensive efforts to hide the evidence of his abuse, including by hiding Miss Ventura in hotels for days at a time to let her bruises heal. It goes on that in one such instance, after a party with Jay-Z, Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura repeatedly in an Escalade, including by kicking and hitting her.
What's next for Diddy? Will the explosive evidence lead to a conviction, or will his legal team find a way to discredit it? And how will Cassie move forward from this emotional ordeal? What do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for Diddy? Or will he find a way to dodge the fallout once again? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more updates on this explosive situation. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.